Guys, Semen del Piso back once again with yet another video. Today we're gonna talk about some powerful stuff, right? We did the whole practice of semen retention. We listened to Semen del Piso and the various other male health advice, right, from all the other content creators all over YouTube, TikTok, whatever. And he decided to implement it for a long period of time, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and it has worked. You feel that you've gotten more energy through semen retention. You feel like you're able to think a bit more clearer. You are able to break down mathematical formulas a bit easier. You could concentrate on reading. You're not so much interested in social media and lewd material. Now what's next, right? Because it just doesn't stop here. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna get into talking about the next steps, right? The next sequence for after implementing the practice of semen retention in your vessel now, right now, right? By the way, don't pay attention to this shirt saying whiskey. I am not an advocate for not only this company, nor alcohol in general. People should not be drinking, people should not be smoking, people should not be taking drugs. It doesn't do anything for the body except the drugs and alcohol leading your brain into developing a whole bunch of neuroses. That's a topic for another video. But anyway, let's not get derailed. Let's get right into the meat and bones of this goddamn video. You've implemented semen retention. You've been celibate for months. You've seen the benefits. Granted, it may be metaphysical benefits, or if you weren't looking for the metaphysical benefits, you've gotten the physical and mental health benefits regardless, right? So what the heck should you do next with all that power? If you guys are able to even understand what I'm saying, chances are you live in a Western culture and society, i.e. you probably live in Western Europe, right? England, France, Germany. You probably live in Australia. You probably live in the US. These cultures, of course, they're very, very good with teaching you things, right? Teaching you how to make money, teaching you how to survive to some degree. But in these various cultures, you are just surviving. You're not thriving at all. You are not living a life worthwhile. They all talk about this, right? The rap artists and various groups of modern thought. They say that we only have one life, right? And we're meant to live up this life to the best of our ability, as great as we can and as comfortable, as wonderful as we can. The thing is that if you are in these Western societies, things are just incredibly expensive. I'm here in New York. We're in Lower East Side right now. It's a neighborhood in Lower Manhattan, naturally. And this, over the last 10, 15 years, this place has become one of the most expensive places to live, let alone reside for a weekend just to have some drinks and some food with your friends. Housing costs in places like this in the West are stratospheric. Rent for a studio apartment, you're paying upwards of $2,000 or more in this neighborhood, which, of course, I'm filming in the day. When it becomes night, it is plagued with rats, people that have not solved their personal mental health issues, so they're on the streets doing a little bit of crazy deeds, right? And various other assailants and negative things that you're subject to. And you're paying all of this money a month to survive, to live here, just to reside. In addition to that, I say this in my previous videos, there's never been a bigger chasm between men and women at any other point in history than now. Of course, back in the day, there was the whole civil rights issue. Women weren't allowed to vote or weren't allowed to take credit for any personal projects or creations they came up with. I do not validate that behavior whatsoever, but there was still, I guess, an understanding of traditional values. Right now, I think there's based on economic factors and the return, or not the return, the avenging from female groups, female civil rights groups, to try to reclaim what they have lost all those years that they've been oppressed. They are now more independent than ever, and they have a whole bunch of money to spend, even outspending and outworking and staying in college longer than men. This is the reality, because of which there is this chasm between men and women, and it's only going to get worse due to social media, as a whole bunch of other things. But that's what you're going to be dealing with in the West, that separation between men and women. High costs, high housing costs, inflation in terms of goods and services to survive. The solution is you have to get out of the West. You have to get out of the Western culture. Men on semen retention, you have gathered your energy, you have cultivated your force, crafted out personal projects and ideas, right? Now it's time to utilize this strength for something greater. You do not need to stay on a dying ship just because the ship is signed in your name or even if you're not a captain, you're a crew member, just following this metaphor here, you have this filial responsibility or this loyalty to the captain, so you'll go down with the captain, with the ship. No, get the heck off the ship. You have a long life to live. There are other places to explore. Listen, the West has become a very, very horrible cesspool of ideas, ways of life, personalities. None of the people here, right behind me, care about each other. They actually want to be at each other's throats. They are at each other's throats. The battlefield, of course, is online. The battlefield are those thoughts that they send towards each other. We know thoughts are things. So people feel these things. They pick up on bad, positive thoughts to some degree. We need to get out the West. Gentlemen, where are the places that we need to go to? I'm sure you guys heard this before. Oh, okay, he's going to try to advocate South America. South America is a very good place to go. It has its own turmoils, it has its own conflicts, but do your research. There are various economies that are growing and stable in South America that you guys can go to. Of course, you gotta devote that new energy that was derived and cultivated through semen retention to learn a new language, right? Brazil makes up the most of South America. Brazil is a very strong economy. Go to Brazil. There's various places in Brazil. Granted, they do have a little bit of a separation issue. There is racism over there as well, but that's not a prevalent thing. There's nowhere that you can go on this planet where you won't have some sort of degree of social issue, right? The hay ice is strong. If you come in with a remote job from the U.S. or from England, which uses the pound sterling, or from any of the countries in the Eurozone that uses the euro, your money will go incredibly far. You could utilize geo arbitrage and have a comfortable economic life. You could even consider, after doing going through the whole visitor visa thing, becoming a citizen of those various countries. You could even consider home ownership, which is a thing that a lot of us young people it doesn't even dwell in our minds, living in our various respective Western cultures, right? South America is good. Brazil is nice. Colombia, that's a very, very popular one. I went to Colombia. I lived there for 3 months. I learned the language Spanish. Yo puedo hablar español y estoy aprendiendo más palabras y frases en español con todos los días, los próximos días, right? I learned the goddamn language over there when I stayed. It was a wonderful culture. The weather is very, very nice. Things are getting very, very expensive because more people are moving over there. Mexico City had the same issue. I do understand, but you don't necessarily have to go to these popular cities that a lot of Western people are going towards. You can go towards maybe the more obscure cities. I think in Mexico, there's Guadalajara. I think that's a famous one. There's Puebla in Mexico as well. There is Michoacan, there is Oaxaca in Mexico. There are a lot of places. In Colombia, you don't necessarily need to go to Medellin. You can go to Cali, Colombia. You can go to Gatem Pereira. You can go to Bogota, right? There are various places that you could set up shop and try to live your life. Utilize that cultivated energy of semen retention to create a sort of life for yourself here on this planet. Okay, you guys are not interested in South America, right? There is Thailand, Southeast Asia. You don't necessarily need to learn Thai because a lot of Thai residents and citizens know English, so you can survive there. But cost of living is low. And also what you are escaping from is this dog eat dog, crab in the bucket mentality that is prevalent in the Western cultures. In England, in Australia, all over Western Europe, France, Germany, there is this prevalent culture of getting ahead at the expense of your neighbor, at the expense of your friends, at the expense of the people that are right next to you. You don't need to harbor this mindset in order to have some success. Objectively, you can have your own success if you're a good person and you sell a good product that's helpful for individuals. You don't need to practice any sort of shoddy business or anything in order to be successful. That is what we are led to believe in these Western cultures. Get away from the West, go to these aforementioned countries, right, that I was just talking about. How would you conduct this change? How would you conduct this exodus from the West? It's incredibly expensive, right? One, to relocate, and two, the job market has been worse than ever. We have a whole bunch of these job listing websites, Indeed, Monster, LinkedIn, that distribute these ghost postings, these ghost job postings. And people sign up, they give their applications, they give their resumes, and they get no responses back. Me, before I got this city job, I was a victim of such things. I sent out 400 resumes and job applications, and I got nothing in return. Guys, so I know you're thinking, how the heck am I going to try to get a job in order to get out of the West and live my full life? This is when you really have to buckle down and utilize that cultivated power of semen retention to come to a very viable conclusion and solution. You guys are all very, different individuals. You have different personalities, idiosyncratic skills and abilities. I cannot give you the answer to that, but generally I can give you this solution. You need to have some sort of creative outlet. What the heck does that mean? If you are not very good at drawing, but you feel this inclination to put pen to paper and create some sort of illustration, do that. If you feel the need to, say, talk on a street corner about uplifting men's mental health due to a very primordial practice, then do that, right? Practice, 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 get something down, put one foot ahead of the other. Do not care about what people might be saying about you or might be thinking about what you're doing, because at the end of the day, remember, the majority of individuals in this world are going to follow the crowd. They're sheep. They do not have a unique thought amongst them. They do not want to be liberated. They want to be controlled. You are an individual that found this channel, one. And two, you went through the necessary practices of semen retention in order to liberate yourself and cultivate creative energy. You are not meant to be dominated. Use that energy and use that feeling, that energy of rebellion, and create something for yourselves. Find out what it is you want to do. Make sure that thing is getting cultivated. You're learning all about that thing, and then find some way for it to make money for you. Once that thing makes money for you, then see about keeping your expenses down as you make a transition overseas. The whole idea is for us men to leave the West. The West does not care about men now. Remember, the gender politics is crazy. The gender politics is wild. There are no spectacular role models for men that is plastered anywhere, not even on the billboards, not even on TV, not even on shows, not even in advertisements. There is no bit of a male role model that men could look up to in order to live their lives, because remember, masculinity is evil now, it's toxic. Let's go to a culture where they actually appreciate men being men, right? And women being women. Go overseas, get out of the West immediately. We cultivated our creative works. We've created some sort of creative work, right, for ourselves. Now what is next, right? You already know that it's gonna be a little difficult in order to be creative in the beginning, and you're not gonna be making any money for it because you're just trying something out. I stress the importance of working any job that you can in order to sustain your lifestyle, right? Remember, minimalist, very, very minimalist micro lifestyle. We don't need chains, gentlemen. We don't need the newest sneakers, gentlemen. We don't need the newest pants, gentlemen. We don't need a car, right? Well, depending on where you live in the United States or in the Western cultures, right? I live in New York City. It'll be nice to have a car, but I know that it's a crazy expense. That's something I do not want to deal with. My point is, keep your expenses low. Keep your finances saved. Save money. You don't need to eat out constantly. You don't need to, listen, I already told you, when you go out on dates, right, nowadays, dates, they're incredibly expensive and you get nothing in return in the West. They take you for a fool. They'll walk you all the way to the bank. They're gonna take all your funds from you and give you a goddamn side hug, right? Leave that stuff alone. Save your money. Save your money. I understand that there are people on semen retention for various reasons, right? My reason is to ascend. For the majority of people that are on this practice, they want to attract women. I understand that, and eventually you want to get married, and before that, of course, you want to get a girlfriend. You have to understand, if you're dating in the West, you're getting taken to the bank, right? It's as simple as that. The economy is horrible. Men and women are living in the same economic status. The thing is, traditionally, women are known to be treated by men, be courted by men. So they're going to seek to take your resources from you because that's just tradition. Leave that stuff alone. Save your money. Save your money. Of course, the energy is going to be built, that sexual energy, because you're going to want to express it in some sort of lustful way. Remember, you've been on semen retention, you got this far. cultivate that energy and concentrate it on something for yourself. Creative works, trying to improve your finances and improve your ways of thinking. Save your money, put it towards overseas. Find some way, find some investment endeavors and journeys, right? There are stocks, right? There's the ETFs. Try to learn more about the stock market. What's going on? Did you take a picture?
No. What's your channel?
Sombra del Piso.
Sombra del Piso?
Sombra del Piso, it's Spanish.
Oh, nice. Is
Yeah.
that YouTube or?
YouTube, yeah.
I'll check it out.
Thank you, if you remember. It's Sombra del Piso, yeah. A Sombra del Piso, it's in Spanish.
Sombra del Piso.
Sombra del Piso. Okay. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem, not a problem. Yeah, you too, you too. Guys, anyway, save your goddamn money. They will take you to the bank. I already reiterated this. As men, we need to express ourselves creatively. We had men of the past, John Milton, the writer of Paradise Lost. We got Dante Alighieri, Divine Comedy. We got Miguel de Cervantes, Don Quixote. We got goddamn William Shakespeare, all the books, The Tempest, right? We have Isaac Newton and his various edicts about physics and mathematical equations and such. These men were incredibly creative because they understood how to channel their creative energies into creating something worthwhile. We already got to that point with semen retention. Unfortunately, we are in an economic situation where because we are forced to work, we get a little bit of money to barely survive and make it. We are not given the chance and opportunity to really express our creativity. Leave the modern world behind. Let's save some money. Let's try to direct our focus overseas if we're looking for a wife and a culture that's willing to accept who we are as men, and let's get it going. And with that being said, that's all I have to say today, guys. If you guys enjoy that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Don't ever let this place get you down. Listen, this place is kind of wild now. I'm in the den. Right? I decided to set up the tripod today in the den of gender politics. What I'm saying has some sort of light in it. The chasm between men and women have never been further at any other point in history. Then there is no turning back. Men, we are not meant to be saviors. We are not meant to be like them superheroes. What we're supposed to do, because we have that ability of flight, metaphorically speaking, fly to overseas. Let's get out of the West. I traveled to myriad countries and I forgot about how wonderful they are over there. Germany, it's a very wonderful place. Australia, not so much. Deutschland, it's crazy. Are you from Germany? No. Where are you from? Poland? I thought so. Guys, let's go to South America, Southeast Asia. Let's get the hell out of the West. Go to places where our money can go far and we can actually consider home ownership and actually saving some goddamn money and perhaps meeting someone that will actually help you become a better person in life. I think that's a good proposition, right? Stay radiant. Lads, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Woo!